Hello everyone. Today we will talk about the history's biggest fraud, uh, part 2, chapter 1 of this amazing book, Sapiens. And here we go. Part 2 starts with agriculture revolution, and its first chapter name is History's Biggest Fraud. In this chapter, author is telling that agriculture revolution was the biggest fraud of history, and in this chapter, half of this chapter, he is describing us that how it is the biggest fraud. In first page, he is saying that for 2.5 million years, Homo sapiens were basically dependent on hunting and gathering, and they moved from the East Africa to Middle East, Europe, and Asia, and then Australia, and then America. This was the uh, spreading of Homo sapiens all over the world. But agriculture revolution was first start when uh, some sapiens began to devote almost all their time to domesticate and mm, domesticate some particular animals, and sowing and seeding, and then watering, and mm, developing that crops and taking care of crops. So this was start 10,000 years before Christ, and they are saying that Turkey, southeastern Turkey, is where the first agriculture revolution was started. Agriculture practices started, and Western Iran and the Levant. So it began slowly and in a restricted geographical area. Wheat and goats were domesticated by approximately 9 9000 BC, peas and lentils around 8000 BC, olive trees by 5000 BC, horses by 4000 BC, and grapevines by 3500 BC. So he's saying that, like, due to that revolution that was held in uh, bef- uh, before Christ 10,000 years, due to that agriculture revolution, it affects today's 90% of our population is dependent on crops like wheat, rice, and maize, and they cover their maximum calories of a day by the help of these crops. That time, scholars believe that, like, the revolution of agriculture was started mainly by the Middle East people, but after some findings, they come to the conclusion that the revolution was holding in the all four corners of the world. Like he then said that in people of Central America domesticated maize and beans, and people of like Middle East cultivate wheat and pea. Americans learned how to raise potatoes and llamas, and people of Mexico, or people of North America, cultivate pumpkins. China first revolutionaries domesticated rice and millets and pigs, and New Guineas tamed sugar cane and bananas. And the first West African farmer made African millet, African rice, sorghum, and wheat. The people, sapiens all around the world, were doing agriculture evolution and producing different types of plant based food. And then the question arises that why did agriculture revolution erupts in Middle East, China, and Central America, but not in Australia, Alaska, or South Africa? So the reason is author is giving the reason that why in these places the agriculture revolution does not happen, because he's saying that all most of the species of plants and animals can't be domesticated. Sapiens could dig up delicious truffles and hunt down woolly mammoths, but domesticating either species was out of the question. So this was the so then author is telling that like some scholars believe that agriculture revolution was a great leap forward for humanity. They justify their belief the with saying that they told a tale of progress fueled by human brain power. They say that agriculture revolution after agriculture revolution, humans have not to work harder, and they have to not worry about the like they shifted their culture from gatherers and foragers to the farmers, and they now uh, have not to kill animals and not to worry about the food anymore, because farming gives them extra food, mm, and extra leisure and a satisfied life. They believe that, but that author is saying that that tale is a fantasy. That is, there is no evidence that people became more intelligent with time. Foragers knew the secret of nature long before the agriculture revolution, since their survival depend on an intimate knowledge of the animal they hunted and the plant they gathered, rather than hurdling a new era of easy living. He's saying that he's uh, emphasizing the hunters and gatherers, that their life was better than farmers, because he's saying that like farmers are having easy life, and he's saying that farmers have not having easy life, because agriculture revolution left farmers with lives generally more difficult and less satisfied than those of forager. Hunter gatherers spent their time in more stimulating and varied ways and were less in danger of starvation and disease. He's saying that foragers and hunter and gatherers live a Spartan life, and they were like having more muscle power, and they were more close to nature, and they have a intimate knowledge of animals around them, and obviously they have a very intimate bond with the nature. And but because of the shift of because some sapiens choose to live as a farmer who discover the food in crops, so they uh, find the easy life for the easy life. But he's saying that they are more like more in danger with, because of they are now in danger of diseases, and they are not living a satisfied life now, and they are also in a danger of starvation, because he's saying this because if the new species of uh, plant only plant they are on plant food they are dependent, the probability of uh, getting like harmed by the starvation is more, because you know that crops are basically depend good crop is basically depend on good harvest, basically depend on the climate and many other factors. And if in some year there would be no better rain or something, then there will be no food for them. So, and they were also now not close to the nature that they can easily hunt or gather food from the forest. So this types of problems arises in the initial of years of agriculture revolution. And here author is saying that this was the biggest fraud of history, because agriculture revolution make the life of people more difficult than the pre-era of agriculture revolution. He is saying that agriculture revolution uh, only good in population explosion and pampered elites. The average farmer worked harder than the average forager and got a worse diet in return. The agricultural revolution was history's biggest fraud. Like farmers are like so working hard, but in return their diet is not so good as compared to the foragers and gatherers and hunters. And he is saying that who was the culprit of this biggest fraud. He is not blaming the king, priest, or merchant. The main culprits were a handful of plant species, including wheat, rice, and potatoes. These plants domesticated Homo sapiens rather than vice versa. After that, author is explaining that because of some lazy sapiens uh, who don't want to like hunt or gather, and because of them Homo sapiens become slaves of this crop wheat. He says that wheat is the most successful crop of our entire history, because it was started from the Middle East and spread all over the globe. And mostly our population currently also dependent on it. And he's saying that like because of this he's giving some amazing examples, like how wheat make a slave. He's saying a slave. He's saying that uh, wheat didn't like rocks and pebbles, so sapiens broke their back clearing fields. Wheat didn't like sharing its space, water, and nutrients with other plants, so men and women labored long days weeding under the scorching sun. Wheat got sick, so sapiens had to keep a watch out for worms and bliss. Wheat was attacked by rabbits and locust swarms, so the farmers built fences and stood guard over the field. Wheat was thirsty, so humans dug irrigation canals or lodged heavy buckets for the well to water it, from the well to water it. Its hunger even impelled sapiens to collect animal feces to nourish the ground in which wheat grew. So these types of funny example he is giving, that for the justification of his statement, that he is saying that we don't domesticated wheat domesticated us. And he is also saying that the word domesticated in it means in Latin domus, which means house. So he is saying that if a farmer want to like grow wheat, he have to protect it from the wild animals, and also have to do weeding and also collect the rocks from the field. And because of that he has to build his home nearby the wheat, where he had wheat farming. where he's doing wheat farming. So he's saying that the word domesticated here relies upon on the uh, farmer. That domus means in Latin home, and who is living in home? Farmer. So here he's justified his statement that uh, wheat slaves us, and it was history's biggest fraud. And because of some lazy farmers, we are like slave to these crops. And he is also saying that uh, because of this transition to the agriculture, uh, the some very dangerous diseases develop, because our body was not designed, or was not made builded for to just picking stones and weeding for the wheat. It is for the hunt and gather. uh, so it is saying that because of that some diseases like slipped discs, arthritis, and hernia. So these types of diseases develop because of agriculture revolution. And we currently also these types of diseases happening. And we know why it is happening, because of lack of doing exercise. Because people don't do exercise, that's why these diseases develop. Then he's saying that wheat had done nothing good to Homo sapiens. He's saying that firstly, wheat uh, make us slave. And then he's saying that like it does not giving us a better diet also. And because Homo sapiens are omnivores, who are dependent on both animal based food and also on plant based food. Like they are also eating both, they are both non-vegetarian and vegetarian. So he's saying that because of agriculture revolutions, uh, grains made up only a small fraction of a human diet before agriculture revolution. A diet based on cereal. He's saying that a diet based on cereals is poor in mineral and vitamins and hard to digest and rely bad for our teeth and gums. So he was also saying that wheat did not give people economic security. The life of a peasant is less secure than the life of a hunter and gatherer. Foragers relied on dozens of species to survive. Foragers and hunters are dependent on dozens of species, and they uh, they have more security, economic security, than the agriculture farmers. And could therefore weather difficult year even without stocks of preserved food if the availability of one species was it. Yeah, and he's saying that that I explained before that uh, if in a year there is no good cropping, so uh, the uh, uh, problem of starvation arises. And that is not with the foragers and gatherers, because they are not dependent on one type of species. They are if there is no if in a place where the foragers and hunters are living, if their animals are not like if they eradicate or extinct some animals that they are dependent on, they can move other places. And can hunt different types of species. But here they are only dependent on one types of plant species. and that is the problem, and that is also the biggest fraud of history. And then he is saying that after the agriculture revolution, because of this wheat cropping, farmers are more like possessive to their land, and they need more land to grow uh, this crop. So because of that, uh, more violence occur, and people are now acquiring their lands and for farming, and this make it more violent for many peoples. He is comparing this like if a farmer have a dispute for land, uh, he show more aggression and more possessiveness for his land. But if a forager or hunter got some intruders in their area, they may, if they think that they are more strong, they may move to another place and can give up easily, because they are mostly dependent on animals, and animals are that time everywhere. But farmers need land, for good land obviously, for their farming, and because of that violence uh, were were more in this, after this agriculture revolution. So then he's saying that in the initial of years of this agriculture farming, agriculture revolution, the violence was very much like spreading, and he's giving us some number that island named New Guinea, where 30% of male death is because of this agriculture dispute, and uh, like more than 50% of population of that time dead because of this violence, agriculture violence, in different area of the world, like Ecuador, and obviously Middle East, New Guinea, and places like this where the agriculture revolution started growing. So because of that violence, cities, kingdoms, and states uh, took place, because this violence was happening in the tribal area where there is no political framework. And after, but it for making political system and to control the violence, it took many years, like thousands of years, to build such huge and effective political structure. So this was only for today. This I am ending this today for this, and tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will continue. Thank you.